morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all, so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And the life is treating you most deliciously. So what do we do? 3, 2, 1, my juice little lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright. Yes, they are, aren't they, my delicious little babies? Now then, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? So it's 25 past 12 in the afternoon in our old England, my delicious little babies. And I hope that wherever you are, that life is treating you most deliciously and that you have got a better weather than what we have. Even though we have a very clear blue sky, it's not like a deep, it's a lighter. There is a bit of sunshine, but not worth making a song and dance about. Although I do love the sun and the sun loves myself, but I'm not talking about that kind of sun. And very little wind, tiny bit of wind, and it's rather chilly today, but it does feel slightly warmer than yesterday, okay, and the day before. Anyway, so that's where the forecast. Yes, Maddish baby, so there isn't any videos to advertise today. I'm just, showing you some like kitchen roll. Like some kitchen roll. Can you see all of those little, like, they look like sweetie, like that you put on a tree. But the thing is, but they also look like umbrella handles, don't they, my delicious little babies? Lots and lots and lots of little umbrella handles, my delicious little babies. Anyway, okay. So I've got a pen, a black and red pen. Yeah. Anyway, my delicious babies, I run out of my flipping pen, didn't I? So I asked my beautiful dear little neighbours upstairs if they had a spare one for me. Because I wrote out, the information yesterday for you all, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Anyway, yeah. So what is it I want to talk about? Number one, while it's on my noddle, that doesn't mean no, just got an itch. These tablets, I was having a look at these tablets the other day. Somebody was showing me, and they said that when I looked on the front, I said, what are they? They said, magnesium. So I said, let's have a little look, please. So I had a little look, and they're called, I'm not advertising the product. There's a point to something that I'm saying here. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now, for a start off, magnesium, again, doesn't mean no. You can find magnesium in lentils, black beans, almonds, cashews. What else now? Spinach. Well, anything deep leaf greeny, actually, like deep green cabbage and things like this now then. And what else? Oh, yeah, even dark chocolate. So, so what's the point that I'm making, my delicious little babies? You see, you've got supplements here and supplements there and supplements effing everywhere. Now, the thing is, when I was looking at the ingredients, I said, I hope you don't mind me looking at the box. I said, just so I could take a look at the ingredients. I'm a bit of a stickler for things like this, my delicious little babies, especially when, you're popping a pill, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies. Anyway, so as I was looking down, I should have wrote them all down, actually. Whoever it is has taken the box away now. It had something in on the end of it. Now what do you get in the box? You get 600 grams. And like I said, it's called Magic Magnesium. Now, why this, who I was speaking to, wanted to use, and they do use these supplements, my delicious little babies. I think you get 3. Is it for 20? Ka-ching, ching, ching. 20 squids, my delicious little babies anyway. So the reason why is to do the sleeping. Now, apparently, if you take one of these magnesium, okay, the words was they knock you out. Not in, like, I don't mean, physically. What I mean is that they knock you out as in, you're away with the butterflies and fairies, you know what I mean? And I said, so, well, what about if you need to get up, to go to the toilet? And they said, well, what happens then is like where normally your sleep would be broken, and you go to the toilet, once you get back into bed, you go straight back to sleep, back to shut eye in dreamy land in your cot. You know what I mean? It's just an old-fashioned Irish saying, mad as babies. Anyway, but I was looking at this now. I was looking, there we are, closer at this Mardalish babies now with the een on the end. Anything, according to what I was told, there we are, many years ago. Not only that, but I even went as far as to research this, there we are, and to look at this closer, okay? Sometimes, over the years, Mardalish babies, okay? I do not mean it against anybody who felt that way, but I have peed a few off. Because instead of, them saying, well, look, it's just doing a job, I've been to my doctors. This is a separate thing, if they've needed to get some pop a pill for whatever reason. They say, well, no, the doctor knows right and everything. I said, okay. But I'm a bit of a stickler, there we are, for going through the ingredients. Do you know what I mean? Okay. And usually, there we are, I have been, not that everybody's correct all the time. No, we are not. But there we are, I'm usually correct on this. And then I send them the information, my findings, and I let them know. That's all I can do. If ones choose to continue to take, there's nothing I can do. Do you see what I mean? There we are, I've given the advice, and that's what I've done. And I've done the proof to look at these ingredients very carefully. And I've either wrote it all down or typed it all down, and I've sent it to them. And that was years ago. Okay, Mardalish babies. So what's the point I'm making here? Anything with an "een" on the end, I-N-E, or anything with a pan on the end, P-A-N, is very, there we are, addictive. So what could I think of off the top of my noddle? Codeine. There we are. That is very addictive. Now, it may just look like a tiny little bottle, okay, with tiny little tablets. But there we are. They can be very addictive, okay? If we look at pan, let's something off my noddle. Temazepam, that's just off the top of my noddle. And no, I have never touched anything like that, Mardalish babies. I was prescribed codeine, was it a couple of decades ago? Just a tiny. I think there was only about 7 or 8 in the bottle. And something said to, I don't know what it was, but something said to myself, well, I do know what it is, because I'm a spiritual, do you know what I mean? But something was telling me, said, no, Carl, I do not have them. So what I did, I just left them at the top of the cupboard, and that's where they stayed. Do you know what I mean? Until I disposed of them. Mardalish babies, do you see what I mean? Something just said, no, do not take them. Okay? This is well before I did any of the research. Do you know what I mean? Mardalish babies. That came a short amount of years after. But, so it was my own spirit guards, there we are, who was saying to myself, do you know what I mean? Not to take. So as I was getting back to this magic magnesium Mardalish babies, which, by the way, on the back of it is it part island, and where's the other place? I've got to have a spare a thought now. Mardalish babies. Oh, hold on. Sorry, my door's going. I'll only be a minute, Mardalish babies. Thank you. I'm sorry about that, Mardalish babies. It's all right. My beautiful little neighbours opposite, they're not in, so I've just taken a couple of parcels in for them anyway. It's nice to be nice, isn't it? And they are beautiful neighbours. I've got all beautiful neighbours, Mardalish babies. Anyway, get back to the matter in hand. So, part island, I don't know whether that's who makes them, somewhere in Ireland, and there's somewhere else that makes them. I'm going to need to get back in touch with who it is, Mardalish babies, just so I can see the other. I don't know if it's England or something. I don't know, Mardalish babies. Anyway, I'll need to have a look. I'll come back to that anyway, and I'll say it on another video. Anyway, so here's the thing. When I was reading the dosage, okay, Mardalish babies, now it was saying to take 1 tablet in the morning and 1 tablet at night. Well, when I read that out and then I questioned it, because I said, well, if you specifically take one of these a night and it knocks you out, okay, then why would you need to take one in the morning? So say, for example, the only reason why my thoughts were like this, Martin Schluck babies, ding, ding, dong, dong, is I thought, well, hold on a minute. If you take one in the morning, well, isn't that going to make you feel a little bit, there we are, a little bit tired? So I was questioning this, my delicious little babies. Do you want, there we are. I was questioning this. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? So anyway, so I said to who it was, I said, excuse me. I said, sorry. I said, so well, haven't you thought? I said, I didn't mean it nastily. I said, not to be nasty. I said, but haven't you thought about just eating, foods, that have magnesium in them? But they said that they're quite happy with those. Can you see what I'm saying, my delicious little babies? Do you follow me? So what's the point to what I wanted to say without dragging this out any longer? The fact of the matter is, this is why ones need to really question what is on the packaging. You know what I mean? Really looking at it. Is it something that I would want to purchase? Not being nasty to anybody who purchases them, whether it be that who I spoke to or anybody else. For myself, no. I've never been like that anyway. I've never said to myself, right, I need to get down to the chemist and go and get myself some supplements. No. If my body needs something, then there we are, then my body needs something. I mean, I have been, near some, it's when I've been out and about, there we are, my delicious little babies, okay, who have got colds. And I found myself, I had a bit of sniffles. I'm fine anyway, my delicious little babies, okay. But the point is, well, it's to be expected at this time of year. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? But I mean, some would say, well, you don't catch a cold. You could have everybody in a household. You could have everybody with the flu, and yet you don't catch it. Okay, I get that. But we're not talking about, let's just say, our definition of normal times anymore, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying, okay? Anybody who ever knows me knows it's a rarity I'm ever poorly. A rarity I am ever poorly. And I feel truly, 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 truly blessed for that. You know what I mean? I've never been what you would call a poorly sickly kind of little bairn, or when I was growing up now. You know what I mean? I've had my sisters and brothers, bless them, where they've had a little skin conditions and everything, but I feel so very thankful. It missed me out. You know what I mean? My delicious little babies, okay, but but bless them, because they had whether it be eczema or psoriasis or, well, I just never suffered with that, my delicious little babies, thankfully, but my heart went out to them. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of that going around anyway. In an asthma, was it 1980s, early 1980s, and that asthma and everything, yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to point that out, my delicious little babies, cashew nuts. Okay, so there's different things that you can take. And of course, if you look at dark chocolate, I mean, for myself, I've always thought, there we are, dark chocolate is the best anyway. I've always liked dark chocolate, my delicious little babies, and it's more richer, it's got more cocoa in it, do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, Anyway, so that's that. What's the final thing I want to discuss? Okay, so honestly, if you could hear me some days, my delicious little babies, as much as I laugh, there we are, I laugh every day. I find things to laugh at, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Because I do truly, honestly feel to my heart that laughter, there we are, is an excellent formula for us. for all of us. Do you know what I mean? Marginally babies. And why do I say this? Because if you're doomy and gloomy all the time and you allow things to get you down, okay, well, you're just going to feel even worse, aren't you? Do you understand what I mean? Okay. Whereas if you say to yourself, okay, well, that's funny, I can laugh at that, do you know what I mean? Then, it keeps your, what I call figure of speech, marginally babies, just an old fashioned saying, it keeps your spirits up, do you know what I mean? Marginally babies anyway. But, so I'd already seen this marginally babies, I think, was it on the China show? Or was it China fact chasers, because I mention them, I advertise them anyway, and with anybody not in that way, marginally babies anyway. And I'd already seen this, and what they do, it's got this kind of shortest kind of lamppost thing, and it's like a box, and then the box opens up, and then this drone pops out. Okay, marginally babies, and this is over in China. Okay, marginally babies. So I've already seen this. So anyway, lovely, and thank the China show and China fact chasers, thank them all, and anybody who I advertise, and even one-off ones, you know what I mean, marginally babies. And so I was listening to this morning, marginally babies are lovely, not in that way, are lovely, redacted. Yes, marginally babies. Now then, it's came in what is it, the last 48 hours on YouTube, marginally babies. They happen to have 2.84 million subscribers, marginally babies. I do advertise them, bless them. I've forgot how many China fact chasers has. Oh, do forgive me, I've forgotten now. Anyway, marginally babies, but they've all got pretty good numbers. Anyway, marginally babies. Anyway, and that's a good thing. That our old England now, our putrid governments are training, is it the councils, are training ones to fly drones in our old England, marginally babies. Well, I mean, come on. I mean, the fact of the matter is, we've had these cameras. I mean, you got, which I was watching from the beginning of this, by the way, marginally babies, okay, and I was seeing it all on BitChute anyway, and I was hearing all about it on our lovely davidicke.com, like I say, with anybody not in that way, okay. So I was already following all this marginally babies, okay. So you've got the Big Brother watch, sorry, okay. Never needed to stumble there, because they actually... this is to do with Big Brother watch, and basically what it is, but at the same time they get flipping damn well called out, in our old England, marginally babies, okay? So that's why I did not need to stumble. But we got cameras everywhere already, okay? But I'm not surprised. I mean, there's been many times in the sky at night, okay, marginally babies, where I'm telling you now that is not a plane. It is not a plane. I've said this on and off for how many months now? There we are on my videos, marginally babies. Do you understand with me? So it's not a plane, and it's not a helicopter. It is something. There we are. It is something else, marginally babies. And I've been done saying this on and off for how many flipping whatever o'clock months. Okay, so there's no surprise there. Well, of course, somebody used some comment or something, that you could, I mean, I'm not inciting anything, clearly, but, if you had something, you could shoot them out the sky, marginally babies, you know what I mean? But, being serious, well, I'm being serious, actually. I'm not inciting anything. That is what I heard. Anyway, marginally babies, so what's the point I'm making? Well, this is not good for any of us. Okay, marginally babies. Why don't they have the drones hovering over Parliament? And peeping through their windows to see what they're up to, marginally babies, do you know what I mean? Instead of using drones to spy on all of us 24/7, marginally babies, okay? So when one said, because you do get them, some mothers do have them over the years, oh, it's not going to harm us. It's for our safety. Come on, come on, come on. You know these ones now. They need there we are, a checkup from the effing neck up, man. At the end of the day, how on earth can any of this be good for us, my delicious babies? Okay, so they've got all these drones coming up. Okay, you got all these cameras. Okay, and then very sadly, you got ones getting arrested for which I've been mentioning a long time anyway. The same as other uploaders, bless them. Okay, to do with tweets, that they send or messages that they send. Okay. Oh yeah, and there was in recent times to do with WhatsApp Martin babies. There we are, which I was going on about, which I'm pretty sure that for some that they must have thought, oh, all she ever does is flipping harp on about it. Yeah, but I've been proved flipping damn well correct. There we are, haven't I, Martin babies? Because I kept going on about it, something just didn't feel correct. There we are, and I'm correct. I noticed all the changes, on the WhatsApp and everything, Martin babies. I was noticing over months and months and months and months. There we are. Anyway, so please, Martin babies, please take a listen. But anyway, Clayton had, what's his name? I've got his name, is it, do forgive me, Jimmy or, anyway, he's Scottish and he's from, but he lives in England, Martin babies, I do believe. I could be wrong or I could be right. Oh, I've seen him many times on Redacted. Oh, I'm very sorry about that, Redacted. Anyway, and he was talking about, is it something to do with Ben Habib? What's that? What they called in our old England? Advance. Okay, Martin babies, they call Advance with Ben Habib. Okay. And Ben Habib was not happy the other day anyway. I never clicked on the video, but it was only a couple of minutes or something. He was not a very happy bunny at all, it seems. I think he's what he was meant to be doing, with his other colleagues or whatever. I think he got sabotaged. Martin babies. Anyway, so he was not happy about that at all. Anyway, well, this your man there who's been talking to Clayton on Redacted this morning, Martin babies, because it's only been uploaded just so many hours ago, not a lot of hours ago. Bless them, pardon me, sorry, excuse me. I've just had something to eat, okay? I just had a curry actually, my delicious babies, okay? Anyway, so yeah, so he said, the one who Clayton was talking to, his guest, that has he been made ambassador to Advance in our old England, my delicious babies, with Ben Habib. The way I see it is, my delicious babies, okay? This is what I've got to say about it, and then I'm going to be over and out, okay, my delicious babies? This is the way I'm seeing this now. At the end of the day, is that not just, there we are, another little label? So whether you are an ambassador, whether you are an MP, whether you are a prime minister, whether you are a president, whether you are a deputy head, whatever they call them, whether you are a house secretary, they're all labels, aren't they, my delicious babies? There we are. That's all I'm saying. And it seems after everything that has happened, and with everything, there we are, in everybody's, there we are, birth races, there we are, for everybody to see, that ones are still wanting another party. It gets to the point, Martin baby. Sometimes I'm in my flat, no word of alarm, Martin baby, and let me tell you, I am blazing, I am cussing, and I am swearing to oblivion. Because I do not understand, and I'm not illiterate. And that is no offence to anybody, who has reading or writing problems or anything like that. Okay, I did not mean it like that. But I'm certainly not illiterate. What this comes down to, okay, is either total ignorance to what has gone on for many, 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 many years in not only our old England, but in other countries. Okay? Totally ignorant to the fact of other things that have gone on, there we are, for all these decades. I also feel that this, I really have come to the conclusion, a long time back, I've said it in my videos, there seems to be a fear here, there we are, that if we never had anybody running our country, that we'd be in total chaos. There we are. I really, really have felt that way for a very long time now. So what is it that I really want to say? I feel that this is damn rank, damn stupidness. And I do not like that word, but we have to use it. Ones are clearly not learning a damn thing now. So going back 5 years ago, especially 5 years ago, where it was clearly in everybody's birth races, Mards, Little Babies, exactly what was taking place, and very sadly, what followed after. Do you know what I mean, Mards, Little Babies? So nothing has been learned, has it? Now, if we look at Ben Habib. So, Ben Habib, and of course for your man there, who was a guest on Clayton and Natalie's, bless them, their show, Redacted. Super duper happy to be given this label, this name, ambassador. Do you know what I mean, Martin, Little Babies? I was listening to that and I thought, you know what? When our dear creator was handed, my left eye still jumping, Martin, Little Babies, yeah. When our beautiful dear creator was handing out brains, it seems to myself that her son, there we are, has clearly been missed out. Now, if somebody finds me offensive, I really couldn't give a fiddler's F. I do not know what it's going to take until one's ding, ding, dong, dong, get it. I really just do not know. Okay? So, what is it that I want to say? Ben Habib, he says some things that I would say, yes, I agree with that. But I really just do not feel that one's, there we are, fully getting what your man there is, there we are, really saying. Okay? So this can mean anybody who's out of work, or anybody, say, who suffers from, I don't know, bless them, severe depression, or, you know, or even somebody who, you know, has a disability. You know, you've got disabilities where they come in different forms, don't they? Do you know what I mean? So you could have disabilities, say if somebody is wheelchair bound, bless them. You could have disabilities, say somebody could not see, could not hear, or do you understand what I mean? Bless them. And of course, you can have, there we are, hidden disabilities that ones cannot see, you know, with the eye, visibly. You know, bless their dear little souls. Bless all of the dear little souls, okay? Well, if ones was to really listen very, very, very good and look very closely at Ben Habib's boat race now, and with what comes out of his mouth and track now, you will find that as much as your man there, the guest on Redacted, was saying, oh, you know, he loves England, you know, Ben, I'm sure he does. But let me tell you, he'd soon have something in store. So for those out there who are not working at the moment, my delicious little babies, okay, you could have other things wrong that, like I just said, ones cannot visibly see, okay? Well, bless your dear little hearts, they'll soon be wanting you back to work, okay? If somebody is not, and I do not give a damn now with what I'm going to say, okay? Because I know there we are exactly what road this is going down, okay? If somebody does not, let's just say, fits the criteria. It's only a matter of time, Mad. There we are, Mad, just little babies. I'm not pointing at yourselves, that's rude. Only a matter of time before that would be brought in. Well, we feel that you are fit for work. Do you see what I mean, Mad, little babies? There we are. Okay. So how do we draw a conclusion to this? My conclusion is, there we are, he's no different. You see, it is not what they say. There we are. It is what they do. So we see them talking the talk, but they do not walk the walk. What they do is they all do it. No matter who you get in government, they all do it in our old England and in the world. Okay, my little babies. Once they get in, there we are, it all changes. Now, when one say, oh, I cannot be bought or I cannot be... No. Because in the end, my little babies, there we are, they all take the ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. There we are, they all do it. Okay, my little babies. So no. You see, ones can sound very sensible the way they come across, and in some Ben Habib's, yes, he has. Would I say to myself, I want to... Oh, bless me. Sorry, my little babies. It was coming. I couldn't stop it. I'm sorry about that, my little babies. I do apologise. Do forgive me. Anyway, do I actually feel that, yes, once he got into power, he'd say all of those words that everybody wants to hear, just like the rest of them do? But he wouldn't do. You got walking and walking and talking and talking. And like I said, it's only a matter of time. Do you see what I mean? And so that's what I have to say about that, Martish babies. And finally, what I want to say, sorry, before I leave, you see, what's happened is, and one more thing I want to mention about that, to add on to that, that the guest of who went on to Redacted this morning, Martish little babies, well, usually it's the day before, isn't it, or so many hours before. That's how the news usually does it. It's not usually on the same day. It's very rare. It's usually always the day before, Martish little babies, anyway. And from what I could see, long time. There we are. Anyway, Martin, little babies. So, oh yes, and Elon Musk. Yeah, he's having input into advance, with Ben Habib. Is everybody, there we are, ding, ding, dong, dong. Not being sarcastic, Martin, little babies. There we are. Is everybody getting me now? So what business does the putrid Elon Musk have over here, Martin, little babies? Do you see what I'm saying? To myself, this is clearly, again, another conclusion. You should only really have one conclusion, but on this case, we're having two. This would surely be, there we are, a recipe, there we are, for disaster. For disaster. Okay? But it's very clear to myself, that's what I wanted to say, that you see over all these years, ones have known that somebody else is clearly, pulling the strings somewhere, behind the curtain, mad, little babies. But they're really, there we are, letting everybody, there we are, know. And what the furthermore letting them know is that they've used all of the governments, all of the armies, all of the old bill, police officers these days, used to be constables, okay? Police constables, okay? That they're using them all, okay? And they're done telling all of us, all in the world. They're done telling us. Do you see what I mean, mad little babies? I'm just not too sure what else can be done. There we are, to wake ones up. I really just do not. Honestly, I've got to that stage now. But it makes me cuss and swear and curse and blaze. Because this is damn stupidness. There we are, proper damn stupidness. So you've already seen what's been done. I'm not just talking about the guest on Natalie and Clayton's Redacted show on YouTube. No, I'm not. I'm not just talking about you. I'm talking about others as well. There we are. They're all the damn same for most. You got some who are not quite the same. No. There we are, because they can see And furthermore, they do not feed it. You see what I mean? They do not feed. Like, oh yes, but if we was to have this, do you know what I mean? Because what are you done telling everybody? For thousands of other uploaders, what are they done telling? That in 1 minute they're saying, oh, this, that, and the other, and then in the next minute, oh yeah, but we could have this one. You see what I'm saying? I just think there's a lot of fear across the board because, put it this way, sorry, excuse me, my delicious babies, because if there wasn't any politics anymore, okay, and there wasn't any other topics like NHS and, you know, like all of these things now, okay, mind you, I talked about NHS, there we are, years ago, little babies, yeah, because it's been sold off, isn't it? And what is it, the Rothschilds, they're selling things. Anyway, I've known there we are a long time about this, little babies, oh yes. So there's definitely something, there we are, taking place, little babies, do you understand what I mean? So, you see, at the end of the day, little babies, okay, if we had none of these things to talk about, well, how many, you know, unless they were going to be talking about, you know, putting our countries right in the world, do you know what I mean, little babies, how many would still have a job role? Well, I wouldn't, would I? And then let's just talk about this quickly as well. Sorry, it's just everything's just coming to me while I'm just, okay. It's like they want to have jobs. Well, how can I have jobs when they're shutting down a very large number? Well, there were anyway. Okay, little babies and Starbucks, because I know this, there we are, because I read up on it, so I know. Okay, little babies, so they're closing those down. They're closing other businesses down, little babies, okay, and of course they're talking about all this AI, right? So how can ones who are out of work, how can ones get jobs? And even if there was to get a job, how are they meant to keep their job if businesses are going under? It's just a question, simple thing, you know, simple thing. I'm just asking a question. Stumbled there, rightfully so. So no, none of this adds up. But these have clearly let you know. Don't let everybody know. So, right, we've used the governments, we've used the armies, I repeat again, we've used the old bill, the police officers who used to be called police constables. We're using them all, you know, and you know, and that flipping NHS. And poxy doctors and nurses over there as well, little babies, they know fully well what they're doing as well. Okay, little babies, okay? For the majority, what you probably needle in a haystack to find one who's decent. Anyway, little babies, okay? And, you know, so at the end of the day, they're done telling you. Done telling everybody. So I just think, really, myself, there is overall, there we are, fear. There is a fear. Because it's everything that ones have known. I mean, look at what happened with the lockdowns. Everything that ones had known, the material side of life, because we are living in a material world, and I am a material girl. You know that we are living in a material world, and I am a material girl. Yeah, plenty of those little babies in the world are material men and women. Okay? And of course, once the old lockdown pandemic came about, well, everybody realised that nobody was really special at all. Could that? I was watching to do with Andrew Bridgen yesterday. There was a video to do with Andrew Bridgen, and I was watching that, and he never for the life of him thought for one moment that they were ever going to do that. That the government that he was working in was going to keep from him taking the jibby jab. And he regretted to say, which he has long time anyway, he took 2 AstraZenecas, little babies, you know me, but he never thought that would happen. Can you see what I mean? So what is it that I'm saying? Right, what I'm saying is that, let me tell you, it's an old-fashioned saying. This is just an old-fashioned saying, little babies, decades old. You see, for the ones who run the world now, them mad little babies, there we are. They take no prisoners. So they'll use you, there we are, and they'll abuse you. Because that is what they see that you are there for. There we are, to be used and to be abused. And 9 times out of 10, they check everybody's, bloodlines. They check everything. And do you understand what I mean, mad little babies? Just to see who's who. Of course, they've clearly been doing this, there we are, for decades, mad little babies. Do you know what I mean? It's like I've come across in my decades, ones who look and I think, gosh, you look like somebody. And then you look back in history and then they'll look like somebody, I don't know, like say from a royal family or something. Then piece of shit, they've always been shit, haven't they, mad little babies? But they sort of have similar looks. Do you see what I mean, mad little babies? So you can see that basically not such a very good crop, were they, mad little babies? Do you know what I mean? So there's so much to see and there's so much to hear. But the point is, if ones are just not getting it now, and ones are still saying, well, I think this one needs to be brought in, to run the country. Well, I tell you what, I can honestly say, I love little cows, this figure of speech. They can carry on going on every different show, hosting their own show, and they can carry on with the bullshit because they're clearly, not only himself, but anybody else I'm talking about, there we are, clearly have learned not a damn thing. Not a damn thing have they learned. You see, I get sick and tired. You hear it on thousands of videos. It's endless. Where they all say, yes, but if we vote in somebody else, then we want it this way. I've just come to the conclusion, there we are, they're totally effing brain dead. There we are, effing brain dead, man. That's the conclusion I've come to. You know what I mean? Because if you can still vote, knowing full well that these will go into the parliament, so therefore they're working for to whom it may concern, and then still not seeing it, well, there's nothing more I can say. I'm beyond saying anything more, mad little babies, because I tell you what, as much as I laugh a day keeps you not so friendly, quack away, okay? I get very vexed and angry. I really, really do, mad little babies, and many can hear me curse and cuss, you know what I mean, mad little babies, okay? Because this is just stupidity and nonsense. If one's just say, we can man our own ship, we do not need anybody, we can look after ourselves, a few teething issues, there might be some businessmen here and there, who would know how to run things like mathematically. I'm crap at mathematics, mad little babies, but, to say, okay, we can run things this way, okay, but have nothing to do with any parliament, have nothing to do with none of them. Do you know what I mean? And as regards to, the old bill and that, only keep what you want, only keep, there we are, the genuine who are going to be there to help others. Not ones who are just going to go and rest anybody just for nothing. Do you know what I mean, mad little babies? Because that's what it is. It's nonsensical. There's no sense to it whatsoever. Do you see what I mean? But it's only because, there we are, all of this has been allowed, there we are, to happen. You see what I mean? So that's all I have to say, mad little babies. I've got nothing more to say. Because if I say any more, right, I'm just going to get, there we are, I really am going to get there. I really am going to get flipping vexed, you know what I mean, mad little babies, because I can see it and I can hear it. And what my thoughts are, and others, in the alternative, okay, because you've got so many bullshitters, you know what I mean, they're only there for the ching, 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 you know what I mean, to their, the ones who pay them, mad little babies, okay. But there are ones, there we are, who really want to put a stop to it as well. There we are. Do you know what I mean, mad little babies, okay? Because I do not see that really having a government in any country is a good thing. Mad little babies, you get the honest ones. There's not many of those, mad little babies, not many of those at all, okay? And of course, if it was a case where all of we could just stop it, there we are, then I'd be all in. Do you know what I mean, mad little babies? There we are, yes, I would. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to go to a protest. I'm not going to. That's just my choice. I've got nothing against anybody else who does, but it's not for myself. Come on. If there's over 3 million signatures to do the digital ID, okay, and they're totally ignoring everything that the populations are saying, we've got a serious problem. Mads Lichtlich babies, do you understand what I mean? This is what I get sick and tired of. This is why I feel, that's it, a lot of this, is fear. It's fear. Look how many on the old lockdown who flipping went stir crazy. You know what I mean, Mads Lichtlich babies? The depression it caused. One's realising, and that included artists, singers, everybody across the spectrum. That included everybody. Well, not myself and like this now then, okay? Because I just witnessed, I just seen what it was like. And sometimes, there we are, Mads Lichtlich babies, it's totally crackers because they come to realise that they're nothing damn special either. Do you know what I mean, Mads Lichtlich babies? We're all in the same bloody damn well boat. You see what I mean? Okay? And that's why I get flipping vexed as well, because I see it's like, oh, work as usual. Man, gee whiz. Lights off. I'll still keep the light shining, Mads Lichtlich babies, but don't know what to say, man. Don't know what to say anymore. So I'm wearing my red jumper again, you know, China, you know what I mean, Mads Lichtlich babies. Because this is where we've been heading for quite a while. Now, unless, there we are, we can put a stop to it, not in a violent way, but unless we can put a stop to it, okay? They haven't asked us about these drones. They haven't asked us about F4, man. Not asked us about nothing. So why do ones come out with silliness? Oh, well, we can do this in a way, we can do that, we can turn everything around, when they know full well that they cannot. They're just going to be working for to whom it may concern, isn't it? It's fear. There we are. Total fear. That's what this is. It's them not wanting to come, there we are, out of their little comfort zone. Oh, well, I've been doing journalist work for all these years, Mads Lichtlich babies. And what am I going to do, dams? What am I going to do when I haven't got it? Well, why not pick up another skill? Like the rest of us have to. Anyway, Mads Lichtlich babies, I'm not shouting at you, my little beautifuls, okay? But I'm just done, there we are, just telling the damn truth, isn't it? Somebody can talk many very kind, nice words, but once they're in power, they're no different. It's always a circle, 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 circle. Okay, Mads Lichtlich babies? So wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies, sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. May your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, and may you all be fully protected. I still want the bugs out of my home. That's what I want. So very much love to you all, my delicious babies. How I love you all so. Thank you so very much for any views, for any likes, and for the most occasional comments, my delicious babies. Okay? How I love you all so. Thank you so very much. My videos don't get watched anyway. Oh, but thank you to, you know, whoever does manage to watch them. Love you. I wasn't getting angry at you, my delicious babies. I just cannot believe what we're dealing with and how many you know, I don't give a damn what ones tinker myself, brain dead individuals, you know, that we're still dealing with, you know what I mean? So much love. Take care. Thank you. Goodbye.